I had the immense privilege of being part of Get Organized HQ's virtual conference last year, and I am so happy to be joining them again this year. But if you missed my session last year, I have decided to release it here on my own channel. And then this year, if you would like to join us and not miss a single thing, either from me or any of the other amazing speakers that are going to be there, I'm going to leave a link down below. You can register absolutely for free, and it is such a good way to come around. I mean, it is virtually, but it feels like you're there doing this with other people because you're doing it all at the same time. So if you are looking for some inspiration, my session last year was all about surviving and thriving with chronic illness. And my session this year is also on chronic illness, and it's about building support when you literally can't clean or organize. And I can't wait to see you there. Hi, if we haven't met before, my name is Sarah and I am so excited to be here with you at Organized HQ. I am a professional organizer and declutter expert. I'm also a mum of 5 and I live with my family in sunny Queensland, Australia. And I also have a chronic illness, and that is exactly what I am here to talk about today. So whatever your chronic illness might look like, whether it is a disability, a diagnosis, if it is just a intermittent physical disorder that sometimes is there and sometimes is not, everything in between, as well as any mental health challenges, whether it's depressive episodes or bipolar or just dealing with a traumatic experience, back pain, migraines, and everything in between. All of those things have the ability to impact our lives and our ability to function the way that we used to. And I know all about this because I have been through and walked through this journey of chronic illness. I was diagnosed at 21 with 2 disorders, an autoimmune pancreatic disorder, as well as a digestive disorder called sphincter of Oddi dysfunction. And so for a very long period of time, I have found out what it's like to live in chronic pain. And some days I feel really good and I feel like I can conquer the world, and other days I just can't. And so I am here to tell you today that there are some really easy, practical ways to make your life easier. I wish I had a magic wand that I could make everything all better, and I totally would do that if I could. But because I can't, sometimes we just need to adjust and have a toolbox of things that we can use when we are struggling. And so I'm going to give you all of my practical advice and tips. I was remembering back to when I was a very young mum who had lots of little children and was really struggling in chronic pain. And I remember thinking to myself, I am going to find a way out of this, even if I have to crawl out on my hands and knees for my children and my family. I was going to find a way out. And there is a way out. It might look really different to how other people do things, but please don't lose hope. I really hope that all of this encourages you and makes you feel a little bit more confident in your illness journey. I am going to kick this off with a hot take. Not all chores or jobs around your house are equal. What does that mean? Well, let me tell you something. If you don't make your bed today, it will look exactly the same tomorrow morning. And if you don't clean your floors today, it will take you the same amount of effort to clean them 3 days from now. And so when you are feeling unwell or walking through these challenging seasons, it's really important to reprioritize your physical and mental energy onto what is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. For me personally, It's the things that are going to be significantly different if I don't do them today. And that is things like laundry and dishes for me. My laundry is going to be significantly worse if I don't wash for a week. My dishes and my kitchen is going to look significantly worse and take me a lot longer to fix if I let them get on top of me. So those are two things that I am going to focus on when I'm walking through those really hard days, that even if I get nothing else done, maybe if I can get a load of washing done, maybe if I can get my kids to help me anywhere, it's going to be with one of those two things. Now, everyone is different and it might look really different for what's important for you, but thinking about it like this, that not everything is equal, and that what is going to help me the most today, what is going to look really different tomorrow if I don't do it today, and what can I reasonably achieve in the time that I have, and do that. And don't feel guilty about it. We can't do everything all the time, even when you're in perfect health. But finding those things that are really going to give you the big bang, the big payoff, that's where you start. Convenience sometimes is survival. In an ideal world, I know that it would be great to be zero waste and to do everything in the best possible practice all the time. But if you are in a challenging season of life, sometimes it really is just not possible. And you know what's more important than getting everything right is making sure that we are meeting our own needs and the needs of our family in the best way we possibly can. And that might look like paper plates and paper napkins for a short period of time while you're feeling unwell, and it's going to mean a lot less mess after dinner. It might also look like single package snacks so that your little ones can access that without making a giant mess. Anything that you can do that's going to keep your head above water is totally worth it. And depending on what your season of life is, it's going to look really different. For me, I'm an avid user of cleaning wipes when I'm feeling sick, because you know what? I can send a child off with a cleaning wipe to wipe down a bathroom sink. I can have cleaning wipes in those areas. So if I happen to be standing there, there's a cleaning wipe right there. I can wipe something down without having to go to another room, because sometimes your physical pain is the difference between being able to do it in the room that you're in and not being able to do it if you have to walk down the hall. So whatever that looks like, totally do it. And think about it in the times where you're not feeling so bad. Can I put something here? Making sure that those things are where you need it, because ultimately, if you wait till you're unwell, those things are no good to you at the grocery store. Have some paper plates in the top of your pantry so that when these times come up, you're prepared. You're prepared that things aren't always going to go to plan, and that we have a plan B. Although it's not perfect, it's what it's going to help us get through. And even if this season is really long, honestly, it doesn't matter. It's not forever. You can always go back to doing those things that you used to do. I know it's really hard to grieve that person that you once were, that did do things in a more eco-friendly way. But whatever it looks like, I hope that this has given you the confidence to do what you need to do in order to get by in those seasons. Simple doesn't mean bad. This was a concept that took me way longer than it should have. And I think it's because subconsciously we think that if we simplify things, that they're somehow inferior, that we're taking away the good stuff and just leaving the bare bones basics. But what is actually happening is you're getting rid of all of the fluffy stuff that maybe doesn't matter so much and leaving the really important things to shine. And once you have this concept down pat, whatever your life looks like, whatever commitments you have, you can continue to keep applying these same strategies across your life. So, when you're thinking about simplicity, you're thinking about what are the main reason I'm doing something and what are the things I need to do it. So it may look like decluttering your whole house, but it may also look like way smaller things, like just getting out those things that you use every single day in your morning routine. So you can work through toothpaste, deodorant, the makeup you use every day, and then everything else can just go away. It also can look like reducing those amounts of extra activities, whether it's for your kids or things that you volunteer for, all of these things that take up time and energy in our lives. It's having a think about what is the most important and what can I cut back on. I promise you, kids have been surviving for eons without every single activity under the sun, and that you might find that your kids not just thrive with less activities, but that they are actually happier about it. So if you can have a think about what can I do to make this simpler? How can I reduce the amount of things? How can I make this more streamlined so that when I'm feeling awful, it's really easy for us to move through it? Another thing you can do is applying it to things like family traditions. It doesn't have to be a giant Christmas. It doesn't have to be a birthday party every year. It can be a simple family movie night, and all of those things that actually make you happy can still happen without you being exhausted and tired. One of the huge game changers for me in simplifying was just simply writing a list of simple meal ideas. This worked two ways for me. One was because I didn't have to have mentally all of these things running around in my head. I had them written down, but it also meant that we were actually eating healthier. It was really simple for me to grab stuff from the fridge and make something really quick and easy than going and eating out, but it was simple, quick, and easy. I'm going to let you in on a little minimalist dirty secret. Yes, less stuff is easier, but the correct amount of stuff is best. And what that means is sometimes when you follow organizers, we're telling you to get rid of all of your stuff. How many mugs do you really need? All of those things. But when you're unwell, sometimes the amount of things that you need is really different. So perhaps you aren't going to get to washing as often when you're unwell. So having enough socks for everybody for a whole week or 2 weeks is really important for you. Making sure that you do have some extra dishes so that if you have to go a couple of extra meals without everything being cleaned up, it's going to be okay. It also might mean that you have a few more items in your home so that you have backups. Because when you're sick, going to the shops is sometimes not an option, and the amount of barriers to leave your home is significant. So making sure that you have the things that you need. It's totally okay to have plenty of deodorant and soap. That stuff's not going to go bad. You will use it up. Keep some toilet paper on hand. All of those things that you need. The amount of stuff that you need is what's best. Yes, less things make it easier to tidy. Yes, you can live in a smaller space. But at the end of the day, sometimes we throw the baby out with the bathwater and we are not having enough of the things that we need in our home to make sure we can see through these harder seasons. So don't be worried if you need some extra clothes, if you can't live on a capsule wardrobe right now and you need to have 2 or 3 weeks of clothes so that everyone can function and get out of the house really quickly every day, even if you're not in a place to do the laundry. It is more important that you have the stuff that you need than having this perfect amount of minimalist items that is not actually going to help you in the day to day. Something I tell my clients all the time is weird, but it works. And what that means is functionality and accessibility are queen. And that just means that it doesn't matter if people don't get it. It doesn't matter if it seems weird to everybody else. If it's what's going to work best for you, that is what you should be doing. I don't care if you need to keep hair ties and a hairbrush in your kitchen because that's where you are when you're doing your kids' hair. I don't care if it looks like making sure that you have everything you need in your bedside table so that on those days where you're feeling really terrible, every single thing that you need is there. thinking about what is going to help you in those really hard seasons and having those items where they are the most accessible for you and your family. Maybe that looks like having things down low so that kids can do more things themselves. Or maybe that means that you clear out a big section of your bathroom so that all of those medical things you need are stored there, and you store your towels or your skincare somewhere else where it's less important. Whatever that looks like. And I think just changing our opinion on like where things are supposed to go. Seriously, I don't think that things are supposed to go anywhere. If you need something somewhere, put it there. If it means you don't have to walk downstairs, it's totally worth it. Because when you are feeling sick, any roadblocks you come up against are going to be one more thing you have to overcome. So if we can make it super easy for us to get through our day, for our family to get through their days, and for those things to run super smooth, do it. Who cares what anybody else thinks? Plan for sickness. Now I know what you're thinking. You're like, Sarah, I'm already sick. It's too late for that. But I also know that there are probably times where you feel a little bit better than others. And during that time, I want to challenge you, instead of running around your house trying to get everything perfect, I want you to think about making a plan. And the reason I'm saying this to you when you're feeling a little bit better is because I think that sometimes we discount the mental load that running a house has on us. That we think about the physical things and we can see those really easily, but the mental load is just as heavy, if not worse. And when you are feeling sick, it's really hard to know what the next best thing to do is. And so by putting a plan in place before you're at your worst, it will make things flow smoother when things do go pear-shaped. So what I would encourage you to do is just start with some simple things. Writing down what your weekly schedule looks like. If there's any reoccurring things like activities or appointments that come up, have them written down. Also, write down a list of all of the meals that your family like to eat so that if you are struggling, you don't have that huge mental load on top of everything else. I actually have a grocery list saved on my Click and Collect so that if I'm really struggling, I know that all of those things that we buy on the weekly that over and over again we need to have in our home are saved right there. I can select them all without actually having to think, and that we will at the very least have those basics in our home for the week when we need them. The more things that you can set up in advance. Maybe if you're feeling really good, you could pre-cook some meals and have them in your freezer. But all of these things are going to not just help when you get sick, but they'll also give you a little bit of peace, knowing that the next time you have a flare, or knowing the next time you're walking through a really dark season, it's going to be okay, because past you has left you some gifts that are going to be really helpful. This brings me to the second part of this point, which is helping others to help you.
Help me help you.
Now, I know it is really, really hard to accept help, and you feel like a failure and you wish that you could do it all yourself. And maybe there are some days where you can, but it's completely okay that you can't, and it's completely okay that you hate doing it. And I just want to validate all of your feelings, but also give you some control if you do need to ask for help. So by having this plan in place, when things are really hard, you can say to people, it would be really helpful for me if you could do X, Y, Z. And you will know what that is because you've already put it into place. For me, it's not necessarily someone coming into my home and cleaning for me, but maybe it is they're picking up my groceries. Maybe it is someone coming and taking my kids to the park to run around with them because I physically can't, and for them to get that energy expended and for me to know that they've had a great time, that is the most beautiful gift. So whatever will be the best help for you, write it down so that when you are in those dark times, when you are in really bad pain, you will know what the next right thing is to do, and you will know how to get people to help you, what they can do for you that's going to be the best help. If you have a partner, this is also something you could talk about with them. Show them where the plan is, show them where the grocery list is, so that if they are really without you, if you're hospitalized or out of the home, that people can help you by picking up where you left off. And you have given them all of the tools that you have to carry them through while you're not there. It has been so fun to hang out with you today and be part of Organize HQ. I know that there are some amazing speakers that are going to have so many fun things to tell you. If you would like to hang out with me again, I am over on YouTube every single week. We have a great community of like-minded people, and I would love to see you there.